Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one is the daily news, and we're going to have the event breakdown, courtesy of Scott. Thank you so much, Scott. Really appreciate it. It's very, very helpful. This is going to be just like last month. So tours have 6 million and change. Sunday Blitz, 650,000 and 10 tickets in the tours. Feud bonus milestone, 520,000 points for 8 tickets. Total 1.17 million minus 16,250 per Prizewall coin you hit in the Blitz bag. So from the 10 from the tours, you'll get 650,000 if you can get those. And then from the 8 in the Feud bonus milestones, 520,000 there. War score leaderboard up to 4 million. Portal free claims 80,000. CSS up to 450,000. So total free 7.34 million plus CSS plus war score leaderboard. That assumes all tour points and all blitz tickets, which requires maxing the war score contest. So don't assume you'll get there. 6.8 million without bonus blitz tickets from the war score event. So you can just squeak the final free milestone, assuming you don't get too many coins. If you don't get any of the bonus blitz tickets. So we'll have to look where those are. There's some extra free points with the 7 loot pulls on the prize wall if you want to get those with your loot coins. But let's take a look at the solo contest here. All right, so here's your bonus CSS Penta. Win 2 feud battles for 50,000. I can get those on the free to play. This is any of the new day, so Woods or Kofi, Muda, Axe, Swoggle, Ray Phoenix, and then new Dom. 90,000 for your first loot coin, 13,000 points for each one after that. So if you're curious about the math, if you bought a mega, 40 pulls times 13,000 is 520,000 event points, right? So when we look at the milestones, just take a look at the chesticles from 15, West Coast Ray, 20, and yeah, 20. So as stated in the regular milestones, and that's normal for Feud, there's none. At the 687, you get your first bonus medallion. 6-9, there's another one and some TP. Another 6-9 one, nothing exciting there. 7-5, 1 and 40 Ray. 50 Ray, 10 TP. This one is a tier 6 metal. It starts getting a little bit juicier here. You start to get some Dom shards, 2 Prizewall medallions, but we are up to 7.6 million, right? 5 medallions, random strap. 7 and 2 straps, right? Like, I don't know, 10 and 6. And then, you know, you get so many at the end, which requires a lot of spending, or finishing like first in war score. And then straight up Dom for 11 million, right? So technically, if you finish first, you could get Dom free. But good luck getting first free without spending on, you know, steps and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, not really important. So honestly, guys, the milestones aren't great aside from the Prizewall currency, right? And how great they are is going to depend on the Prizewall for you and what you're going to get, right? So, but there is, however, this feud event, I wasn't sure we would have this. We do have for actual war score, we have CSS. Right? So it's the class era CSS, so you can rack up a lot like this. Just doing all of these usually gets you a good chunk of points. I actually haven't tallied it, but we can. Each one of these is 240,000. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. So 240,000 times 7. That's worth 1.68 million. And then we have 6 of these at 320,000 each. 6 times 320,000. 1.92 million. So 19 and 26 is like 3.5 million-ish. If you do all of those, I think, right? I think that math checks out. Which puts you into the bonus. So if you do all that, and you're going to get some more score along the way, you're probably close to the 4 million mark. So I think this is a good mark to shoot for. A lot harder with hype, though. These arrow wins with hype make it way, way harder. So not a fan of that with hype. I do like that the scoring is there, but honestly, with hype, they should drop the arrow restrictions, dump the points into class, because even class-wise, it's hard enough, right? With hype, because, you know, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna belabor that, but let's take a look at the milestones. So, basically, along the way, right, let's see what we get in the chest. So right there, so just the regular, you get 2 here. And it says Feud War Score has 5 in the regular milestones, so there, I'm assuming there's some earlier too, right? Yeah, there's 1. Yep, so 5 in the regular. So if you just get to here, which doesn't require doing all of that, since we figured 3.5 mil, you'll get 5. The Blitz ticket there, 3.5 is 2 more. That would give you 7 from the war score. So kind of important, right? Just to keep in your back pocket. No more medallions, but a Blitz ticket there, which will give you more solo points for the event, which could get you another medallion. And then you get 3 here, and then the final one, which is a bit of a push, gives you 4 and 3 Blitz tickets. And of course, we have the Chest of Disappointment in there. So Scott's got the breakdown here. Bonus solo free-ish, 3, 1 each, and 6.8, 6, 9, and 7 million milestones. So if you're doing a little bit of spending or do okay in your war score, you can push there, or your bonus Blitz tickets can push you up to those, right? Blitz is RNG. Feud war score 14, 5 regular, 9 in bonus milestones. Obviously, the bonus milestones are huge. Of the 9, 4 are in the last one, and 3 are in the second to last one, which are very difficult to get, the last 2. So 7 are there. So really, there's 5 and then the 2 that are obtainable for a lot of people. So 7 medallions basically. But you will get a few Blitz tickets, so you can maybe get to 8 free. So, and Scott has here, of course, 5 to 8 without maxing Feud War Score milestones, 17 if maxing Feud War Score milestones. So that's very helpful. And then he gives you your total of what you can expect this for 7.4 million total. And maxing the war score, you get 19, 7, 6, 23, 28, 35, 45, and 59 total Prizewall coins. So just keep that in your mind, what you have to do if you want certain things on the Prizewall we're going to take a look at. So like I said, pretty straightforward, kind of same as last month. So a lot of this will kind of depend, as usual, Prizewall and its pricing, right? There isn't a faction one, I don't believe, tied to this, right? So you just feud for the rewards that come in during the thingamajig. You know, for the faction part, there's nothing really there other than the small reward you get for your placement as a faction in the feud. So yeah, it might say here, let's see. Yeah. Some S tier shards and some S tier shards for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th to 5th, 6th to 7th, 8th to 10th, and 11th to 20th. So most of us won't see the shards, right? Most players won't. So there's that. Okay, now let's take a look-see at the Prizewall. So the straps, I continue to not like them. Ultimate Affiliation, if you want to gamble for a 4-banger, which is huge, or one of these. If you don't have anything like shard-wise that helps you and you don't get enough for a plate, these are kind of like what Mherex takes a lot when he's in between, right? If I'm in between, if I don't need shards for anyone and that sort of thing. Otherwise, most people, you're probably better off doing, you know, maybe this kind of stuff. So as you can see, everything is pretty expensive still. Free-ish is basically 17, maxing the doing everything. 17 is what you'll get free, and then some Blitz RNG. So from here down is kind of what you can expect to have a shot at free if you do everything, right? And there's some good stuff in there for sure. So that looks pretty good on the free end. My free to play will be struggle to get to 8. I'd love to get the wood shards. 7 would be great. The McCool shards, right? So that would be kind of what I would go for on the free to play till we see the plates. So 30 for this one, 15 for Kofi's World, 9 for Purple Transfusion. I think don't really worry about the Purple Transfusion. It's not really a big deal, but you could use it if you have a lot of hype and everything for Judgment Day Rhea, like your gear and moments and all that stuff. You could potentially put it there. It's not huge, though. It's just more added to all the stuff she has. Kofi's World, not that great of a plate either. The real prize here is the Rainbow Crossfire, for sure. So the 7 pulls for 7 if you want to gamble. And then, you know, this stuff. The Showboat Starfill frags are great. Starfill frags, if you don't have Santa filled, then I would really focus on this. 5-star bronze Santa, you can get him to 17k once these stars are filled and he's max. So if you don't have that, then these are great. Otherwise, not really, like except for filler stuff. I do like star frags for filler. If I have leftover, I definitely like grabbing those. So yeah, I think the McCool shards are a fantastic price. Lower pricing, these are all fine, right? It's just whatever is going to work for you. Braun is a fantastic trainer, though, so he's the most impactful in my opinion here. Definitely from this tier. Devon is really good with great stuff, and you will want great stuff to hit really good with him, in particular Punk's Gauntlets. Without great stuff, not nearly so much. Penta is literally quite great. Now, especially with all the stuff you can get, he's quite great even without the stuff, mainly because he can stun right out the gate on a very decent damage, quick moveset. And of course, if you stun someone, they can't reverse you. So he is, unless they have an anti-stun strap, he is reversal proof. And he's got a hot tag. He's great in Titan. He's got some nice showdown links. So Penta is really, really strong. Honestly, I think with where the game is at right now, he's one of the better cards you can have and then invest hype into. One of the safest cards to invest hype into, I think, as well. Because there's so much stuff available for him and he just gets better and better. And he's got a really interesting kit with things he can do. So McCool shards, great value. She's very strong. Awesome gear as well. Woods is quite good. LA Knight, yeah, is not good at all. Rex Regum is still very good. Him and Vader are pretty similar ability-wise. They both can be quite good showboats. Nikki Cross Abby the Witch is the best powerhouse not named Zombie Bliss or Julia for ladies. She can be pretty strong with the right stuff. HLR Showboat Cena, currently not my favorite showboat. If they ever release a red Piper plate, though, expect him to shoot up that list a lot. He's got a really cool, diverse kit, though. But it does suffer from a decent amount of reversal potential. But also really cool with the shiny thing. I like that. McIntyre solid, right? And then Muda, of course, is a Titan MVP for just kind of like easy mode, for doing a bunch of damage in Titan as long as you have a purple rumble. He is also fantastic for who destroys most gems stip tours because he blows up the board twice and then you throw a rumble on. So he's got high damage too. So very useful in general. Jacqueline is also quite good. So all of these I think are good pricing. I don't know if any jump out more than others other than McCool. 300 for 7. I think that's probably the best value here. Now we move to like this group where you're starting to get into paid. And I mean, like, Howdy, if it recruits him, you got to do it. Or if you're chasing Howdy and getting closer, he's a super impactful coach. Ray Phoenix is a really good coach. Haku with all the stuff is ridiculous. Super strong in Titan. but he is one of those people that is definitely a whaley thing to put everything together. You need a lot of stuff to get a lot out of Haku. He can still hit hard without a lot of stuff, but just know a lot of this videos you're going to see and stuff that he can do rely on extremely whaley items, okay? But to 400 shards for 20, I think is really good value. I'm very not big on EO, to be honest. I still think Trickster Alexa Bliss is the best Trickster in the game for ladies, in my opinion. And you can agree or disagree, that's fine. That's just how I feel about it. OTC is incredibly strong, right? But you're probably not close on shards. Axe is a ridiculously good striker. He's probably my favorite striker in the game. But obviously super expensive, and Stephanie Vicaire is amazing, but these two are crazy expensive. Now, all that being said, if you don't have a crossfire plate and you get to 30, I would take this over anything else on the wall. This plate is ridiculous. You can see a video I did breaking down how good this skill plate is, how good it is on so many people. It's my favorite skill plate in the game at the moment. And yeah, it's just great. So I think that's actually the best thing you can buy on the wall for 30. If you get to 30, but you're talking about pushing the 7.859 milestone and then potentially either buying two medallions, right? Or going all the way to 8.1 to get to 30. 7.8 is going to require spending or placing very high in Feud, which is also going to require spending in the form of steps and that kind of thing. Yeah. So I guess to me, like any of these, like if it recruits someone for you, like Muda's probably the most useful in general right now. From this group we're looking at right here, right? Of shards, even this one. In the game, Kofi is also quite good too, but I mean, you know, I don't know how close you are to him, but that's a good chunk of shards, right? So I actually, yeah, I would say from this group, Muda is the most useful, like just looking at this part. This group, honestly, Howdy's the most useful from a trainer coach perspective. Ray Phoenix is bleeds on traps and stuff, just like Howdy is, multiplies on traps, jugs and stuff. They're both very good at what they do. So I have really high value on them as that. Haku, like I said, really good, requires whaley stuff. Vicaire is amazing, and Axe is amazing. So it's really kind of your flavor at that point. And then down here in normal man's range, I like the Woods and McCool shards if you don't have them. For sure, if you don't have Penta, though, I love him. And then if you don't quite make it to those, super useful trainer, right? And then Mercy's really solid, and Jade, for some reason, they require Jade all the freaking time. She's CSS all the time, which I don't get. The plates, I'm not really big on any of them besides the Crossfire. So, but the Crossfire I'm huge on. So this is one of those though, like you know, a light spend if your faction did decent, like probably $30 kind of thing, with your faction doing decent, got you a Rainbow Crossfire for the kickoff event. But so, you know, like if you feud a bunch and you can get there in like 20, $30, $40 gets that, to me it would be worth that. It's that kind of plate that's worth it, but I can't assign worth to you. But it's a great plate. And then, you know, if the shards can recruit anyone, it's fine. I do like the Prizewall in the sense that there's a lot of shards to choose from. But full disclosure on Mherex, I don't need any of the shards. I finally have a Kofi's plate now. So I don't really need that. But I have a bunch of transfusions, so not really worried about that. And so I would love, if I get to 30, I'm taking another Rainbow Crossfire for sure on Mherex if I get to 30. If I don't, there's really nothing for me to get other than trying to gamble on affiliation straps. So in this case, I might just take a strap, even though I say they're terrible value for Dom, although I have a lot of Showboat 150, so probably not. So yeah, I think I would straight up just gamble on the ultimate affiliation straps on Mherex. Free to play is probably going to be taking McCool shards if I can get to 7. If not, if I get to 8, then I'll consider between those two for sure. The pulls are tempting. I'm not gonna lie, the pulls will be tempting, right? But I probably will take the shards because I think I'm close to both of those, which we can look at. So that's kind of my take on the prize wall. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah, let's look at McCool and Woods. Just 300 only gets me 900 away still, but that's only 3 more prize walls to get her. I wasn't getting a lot of shards at that point. She was fairly early in the free-to-play cycle for me. And Xavier Woods I'm a little bit ahead of, right, at 2100. So both of those would certainly be tempting. And I'm not sure which one I take. Maybe Woods because I'm closer. I don't know. I'd have to decide. So other than that, let's go into Titan. It is Trickster Day today. So get your attacks in. We have Acrobat Wildcard. Nothing else I really want on this account for hype. I'm going to go ahead and snag that. Okay. So there's that. And let's see. Do I have enough for a pull? 7,500. Nope, not enough for a hype pull yet. I think after I do the daily thing, I will. So let's take a look. We looked at the events and stuff already going on. There's the prep tour. You want to get this done early if because you can get a few perks. Right? Hell requires Penta. Powerhouse requires. I'm trying to remember. Let me look on Mherex. What's his butt? Boss Man. Showboat. I'm gonna have to. Is Alistair Black on Hell? That's only on Hell. Striker was I can't remember. Oh, OTC. Striker Hell requires OTC, and Technician was Ilya. There's extra turnbuckles there. Oh, it says on this one. Nice. Did it say on this one? If I click on it, no. Weird that Ilya says it and the rest don't. So that was required there. Hard mode, which has the points, it just requires whatever class it is. So Powerhouse, Showboat, Striker, Technician. So hard mode is no issue at all. Just whatever class is required. And then normal is open, right? And that gives you the shot at the chests. So that's what's going on there. On the prep tours. Lucha Legacy tours. Viva La Lucha. One is pretty open-ish. You get Dom, Dirty Dom. So Strobo Dom, Dirty Dom, Penta, and Ray Phoenix. This one is all these different guys. Hall of Fame Ray for most people, but Muda, New Ray, Axe, and Vader. And then the Luchadors is if you get Dom, you get him early. There's a bunch of solo points here. Or if you get them at all, actually. That's not a 24-hour one. That's 1.5 million solo points. And then you get 10 medallions. And then you get this chest with, Yellow Royal Rumble. That's a nice incentive. Very useful. Also a great plate on Dom potentially as well. So yeah, pretty useful plate there. So if you get Dom, that's a very nice bonus for you between that stuff. Yeah, so that's what you got for that. Don't forget to do your speed tour. Who hits hardest men today? Stip shop, make sure you're getting every day. The gray one gives you props, and then get your promoters here and then check the plates because useful plates drop in here all the time, right? So be checking that. And do your daily stip tour because it's on 24-hour cooldown. So let's check the store now. There is a new hype loot. Much like Zombie, they sold this S tier thing, a mega pull of 22 for $100. I do not like these at all. I do like this Penta offer. Penta at 6-star gold with 10 pulls for $30. Penta's awesome, so that's a really strong offer. This is a strong offer too. 5 pulls, both Ray and Dom at 6-star silver. Yeah, those are good offers. These ones are whatever, right? The portal is always going to have better $100 deals, but if the shards recruit somebody, I get it. if you want to spend that much for them, right? So just for example, the flagship on the portal is 94 pulls, 75 Dom shards, 300,000 points, and 6 medallions. That's $200. That's the flagship. And the $100 one on the portal is 47 pulls, 100,000 solo points, and 2 medallions, and then some resources. So those are like the route you would kind of want to go if you're gonna spend a bunch. But these are, you know, shards and whatnot, whatever. So buy that over this stuff, right? In my opinion. You have all these are shorter time periods, but the other stuff on the portal, you have the whole time. You have the whole time for these, so you don't need to rush into any of it necessarily. The Lucha Legacy ones, the starter ones are on 24-hour cooldown. This is a pretty decent one. 4 pulls for $10. It's $250 a pull, 50,000 points. That's worth like three pulls at their three. Let me see, 50,000 divided by 13,000. That's times dummy. 50,000 divided by 13,000. It's going to be like, what, 4.5? 3.8? Yeah, 3.8. So almost 8 pulls worth for $10 as far as points go. So I do like the value on that starter. Less good here. This starter is not nearly as good a value. You're paying more per pull, and you're just getting, you know, some econ. So I don't like that offer at all. I do like this one. Speaking of those 2 medallions we talked about earlier, if you know you're going to get or can get to the 28 milestone, this is the early bird special. I think this goes up to $24.99 or something like that usually, or sometimes it's even worse and it's just the medallions and no pulls. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is a decent-ish offer, but I don't like spending early, so there's that. These are whatever. Not really a fan of these. They give you feud perks during Flash Feud and bonus faction boss shop coins. We got to purchase it each week. The price per pull is $250. I don't know, it's whatever. If you want steps during Flash Feud, then go ahead, but Flash Feud's pretty terrible. So yeah. Then they're doing this again, which I hate that they're doing it. I do think it just heads up. The 40 hype for $20 specified is definitely better than 100 for 100. That's $1 to $1 ratio, right? You do get 20,000 currency with this. This one you only get 2,000. So you get double the currency to do a random pull, but you get double the targeted hype currency in the 1999. So, you know, if it's worth it to you, fine. I don't like hype offers. I hate that they're selling it. But you know, it is what it is. And if you're looking for targeted hype, you have you know, this is the better offer between the two. This is straight up selling enough though that people can hype somebody to the max, so they can hype them to 4. So you know, you'll see lots of 4. Especially because this is the second time a lot of these been offered. You're gonna see, you already were seeing, but you'll see even more hype 3 and 4 Cocos and Pentas and Kofis and, you know, Mudas and Swoggles, right? So it is what it is. Is that about it? Free daily bag claim. Oh, and then the free offer today was Showboat Shards. Not chaotic though. I don't remember which ones, but it was not chaotic Showboat, which is what I want. But that's the free claim. I already grabbed that because I wasn't paying attention. So I guess it's just we're down to the loot review. So this is the hype loot, 22 featured, all S plus characters. Let's see what's in the pool. You get 1 mega rare guaranteed. And on a 22 pull at 2%, you'll only get 1. And then you're going to get some couple rares, but mostly commons, right? You're going to get 1 of these, a couple rares, and then, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Right? So, you know, it's just a big old gamble because you got, let's see, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23 people in here, so you have a 1 in 23 chance of getting the person you want 110 hype for. If you want 110 hype for all of these and that's worth $100 to you, then this is the offer for you. I don't like this. I don't think it's a good use of your money. You're probably at 15%. What's that? You're probably getting on average 3 of the 30s. And again, it's targeted, and the rest you're getting commons at 10, right? So if you do want, you know, 150 hype between this level split between 1 and 23 chance, you know, on average you're probably going to get 1 of each. It won't work that way, of course, but you're, you know, some might get 3 or 4 of somebody and none of somebody else, but you're probably only getting like 10 to 20 hype of the person you want with one-on-one person. Anyway, it's a huge gamble. I think it's terrible. Don't do it, in my opinion, but it's your money. So you do you, boo. As far as the Dom loot goes, 7 guaranteed on the feature. This I'll be straight up with you guys. Generally speaking, you're doing this if you're going for the Prizewall stuff, right? A lot of the Prizewall stuff was on the premium Prizewall we just had, right? Like there's a bunch of plates and stuff. To me, that's a much better use of $100 than pulling on this loot, because it's not anyone new or anything like that. And then, you know, the stuff you're going for on the Prizewall, we had a better Prizewall to kick off the month, right? So it is no fault necessarily of the event or the loots. It's just you're way more incentivized to spend your money on the first event than this event. You get way more bang for your buck. So I don't know why you would be spending on this unless you spent on the first one and then you also want to spend on this. So loot breakdown feels weird to me, because if you were going to spend, you would already be doing that. You know, you don't need a loot breakdown for me to tell you. But anyway, I digress. So a 40 pull does give you 7 sets of Dom shards. 30 to 600, you're probably going to average 50. That's like 350 Dom shards is probably what you're going to average. If you're the kind of person that's dropping $100 on weekend loot, you probably don't struggle to recruit Dom anyway. So you're paying for very, very limited early access or to try to get this Prizewall. I don't know that strategy makes sense for me. And if you're missing most of the other stuff, then maybe, but I don't know why you would be if you're spending 100, right? I mean, there's some really good stuff in the mega rares, actually. Honestly, really good. Not him. These were just on the prize walls, but, you know, good. But just on a prize wall. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty strong pool, to be fair. Yeah, that's getting a little worse now, but it's super diluted. But there's a lot, like if you're missing most of this one, at the mega rare, if you're missing most of that, then maybe, right? I mean, 18% chance in there. It's all full cards. You don't know how it's weighted. There's some decent stuff in there. They're all over 6-star. So that part actually feels pretty decent for that tier to me. And like, if you're chasing Dom early, then, you know, I mean, it's obviously good. As far as the rares go, let's see if we have anything. Great trainer. Obviously great trainer. He's good. Not so much, but then there's some useful shards if you're close to recruiting them. And then Common's great trainer. Great coach. And then some maybe useful shards to you if you're close. Honestly, it's a pretty decent looking loot for a weekend debut event. But I think that's because the prize wall, the main prize is the skill plate that we just had this weekend. Like if it was me, I would have probably switched it up, right? Or this week long. So of course the crossfire was on the week long, and so was the explosion. So on this one, I would probably put like a rainbow snowfall or something like that, right? To change it up, because a lot of people, if they were going for a crossfire just spent, they probably wouldn't spend for another one. You know what I mean? I don't know. Does that make sense? Whatever. Um, I'm just trying to break this down in a way that makes sense to my brain. Um, it's fine. I don't think this is the loot this month if you're like a one-time spender to pull on. We have the collab this month, and that sort of thing. This is like paying early access for Dom, and then to get more Prizewall medallions. So if that's worth it to you, then go for it. If not, save your money. As I tend to say, you're better off doing one big spend and getting a bunch of good stuff. It's funny to me, all the people I'll see say, oh man, I won't spend it's crazy to spend $100 on this event, yet they spend $20 on events all the time and don't get anything good. Just skip 4 bad events where you spend $20, 5 bad events where you spend $20, and then spend 100 on one good event and then get 2 amazing plates, or a plate and a new character. You know, that's how I look at it. So and that's why I'm looking at this one. If the crossfire plate is in your spending range and it's like 20 to 40 bucks, I think it's absolutely worth that. But there's no guarantee you're going to get Dom, and even if you are, if you're spending that, you're getting Dom anyway later in the month. So that's the reasons why I don't think this is the one to pull, unless you're whaling, in which case you're pulling anyway, right? Because you want Dom early as possible. So hopefully that makes sense. This is really long. I'm talking way too much, but I'm trying to explain the logic there. And I'm curious what you guys think. Agree, disagree, etc. But that's how I look at it, and that's how I look at spending. So that's how I break that down. Also, why I save that for last, because I know a bunch of people aren't going to spend, right? Because they just don't spend on the game. So I save it for last so you can turn me off if that's not your thing. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that really helps me out, guys. I do appreciate you watching very much, and I hope you have a great weekend. So thanks for watching. Good luck in Feud, and good luck on the prize wall. Let me know what you're going after. Thanks.